toy.
We're wanted men.
I have spoken.
Welcome to episode 140 of the Smugglers Galaxy podcast, your favorite Star Wars podcast for smugglers in the galaxy. I'm Glenn, and we've got Jason with us as always.
Hello,
We got
hello.
a special guest, Tony Johnson, who went to a toy show a couple of weeks ago up in King County, which is a suburb of Chicago.
That's the
and we'll
county
get
that Chicago's in, right?
Is it in Chicago? Is it in Chicago?
I'm not sure. I don't
Anyway, it's up there somewhere.
adjacent. Chicago adjacent.
Chicago adjacent.
St. Charles, Illinois.
Okay. Did you at least go by Juliet and see the prison?
No, I didn't make it by there. I also barely missed going on Lower Wacker Drive. I really wanted to, but
Doggone it. Well,
missed the
anyway,
exit.
how's everybody's week going?
Good. Can't complain.
Yeah,
Pretty
you missed a hell of a toy show, but we'll get into that later too. Jason.
Yeah. I had to take one for a mental health day, I guess.
Yeah,
Just
dude, tell
needed
me
to
about
chill.
it. That's why I didn't, like last night, I was like, no, it's a mental health evening. So I think my sinuses are starting to act up, which I normally don't have sinus issues, but today it's just, I haven't felt right all week. And today I think it just kind of hit me. But anywho, feeling good.
Yeah, I was
now.
out cutting the grass and all the dirt and dust got into the air and the pollen and the leaves and all that. So I was sneezing out there today. It was not fun.
Yeah, the grass is getting like a foot tall in my yard, but I'll get it tomorrow, hopefully, if it doesn't rain.
If it doesn't rain.
Tony, how you doing?
Pretty good. Same problems. The pollen's really getting to me. Trying to
Happy
avoid outside.
happy belated birthday.
Oh, thank you.
How does it feel to be 21?
Forever. It's just a forever kind of feeling, I guess.
Did you guys pick anything up this week?
Oh, it was freaking gluttonous.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It was May the 4th, so it was just redonkulous. Everywhere you turn, there was another deal to be had that you had to get.
I think as I wrote, May the 4th empty your wallet.
That's pretty much how it felt, man. Yeah, I guess I'll go first then, because I don't know, I did all right, but I had my TIE fighter, my first order TIE fighter, Micro Galaxy Squadron came in a couple of weeks ago. It came in actually like right after we talked to the guys at Jazzwares, and Max was saying how like Series 3 on, they really impressed, really upgraded everything. And this thing compared to the Series 1 TIE fighters are pretty incredible. The wings are nice and tight. The detail is, it's very sharp detail. The pilot looks awesome. The paint app is on the pilot, or the micro figure accessory, as Max puts it, is pretty awesome. The lenses on this thing are red. It's got a nice little red tint. And yeah, I'm really impressed with the quality on the Series 3 figures or ships. So
Nice.
yeah. And on the Micro Galaxy tip, I ordered pre-ordered the AT-AT and the Emperor's shuttle.
I missed the
Imperial shuttle.
AT-AT. I was very sad about missing the AT-AT.
That thing was alive at like 5 a.m. when I woke up for work. It was like, hey, there it is. So I ordered it.
Yeah,
Love
but
Target. It's either early or it never shows up.
But look at all the Lats and the Falcons hanging out at Target store shelves right now. There's going to be plenty of AT-ATs out there.
You really think so?
Yeah.
Well,
I
it's
hope.
Yeah, I think it's $60. I mean, it's a hell of a figure or hell of a ship for $60, but I don't think the average person is going to spend that much on it. So, anywho, What else did I get? Bought my wife the TVC Ewoks.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I thought that was going to be a cluster because it was Hasbro Pulse, but it wasn't that bad. I don't think people liked it, or they didn't have a limit on those. And what else?
Yeah. Well, we could get into that in the news section. That whole live stream was a cluster.
Really, I barely watched it. I was like,
I've seen high
was-
school announcements better than that one.
Yeah, I was waiting. I'm like, yeah, they're gonna announce the HasLab, and then they're like, hey, we're gonna let you know what it is at San Diego Comic-Con
In July.
in July.
Oh, so they did give a date. I watched it, but I had to have it muted. So
Yeah, San Diego Comic-Con is when they're going to announce the next HasLab.
Yeah, so we'll see. And they were
Which,
like,
if
right
it's
on
the
the-
ghost, it's the worst secret in the world.
well, at least he didn't go, we're gonna announce the ghost. I mean, the HasLab and San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah.
I really should have wrote everything down, but I picked up some. We went to a toy show yesterday in Gwinnett. I picked up a couple of men on card gambits because I'm a coon ass and I like my gambit.
Okay, watch that.
Sorry, I'm a Cajun and I like my gambits. Sorry, we're trying to do we're yeah. Hi YouTubes. Anyway.
Anyways,
Anyways,
what else did you
what else
pick
did
up
I
from the
pick up?
Gwinnett
I also
Toy Show?
huh?
What else did you pick up from
Did
the toy show?
you remember McDonald? You remember penny racers, like the little cars you put a penny behind and they pop a wheelie?
Somewhat.
Somewhat. Well, McDonald's made a run of those for their Happy Meals. They're like knockoff penny racers. Somebody had a full set of them at the toy show yesterday, so I picked those up for like $10, which it made me laugh. It made me smile and bring back some memories. So pick those up. And what else did I get? I got a little Lego, like a snow trooper Lego set, sort of like the Mando set, where it's got a little, build a figure, got like 4 or 5 figures with it. And you can build a snow speeder, not a snow speeder, a speeder bike, snow speeder bike.
Mhm.
And I wanted to pick up some more Mythic Legions, but my wife was like, you're not buying anymore. So I
Oh,
didn't buy anymore.
there were a couple there, but yeah, they were
Full retail. I mean, they had
Yeah, I
one
know.
piece that was like the 4 horsemen that I kind of really wanted, and it was $100, and it hurt kind of passing that up. But yeah, that's what I did.
Oh.
And I got a puppy. We
Oh,
got a puppy
yeah.
last week.
you pick a name?
Yes, I named him Kanan.
Oh, Kane and Jarvis.
Yes.
Keep them away from the propane tanks.
Yes. I was thinking Chopper, but it ended up being Kanan. And then my wife, because he's black and white, was like, why don't we name him Trooper? And I'm like, Kanan kind of was brought up before we got him. So we went with Kanan.
Kane and Sabine and Solo.
Yep. And Luke and Leia are my cats.
We don't count the cats.
No, we don't. I don't. Yeah. I keep waiting for them. I keep waiting for them to die. That's horrible.
Yeah,
They're
that
good.
sounds
They're-
harsh.
It is.
That's
Leia's an
harsh.
awesome cat because she's one of those cats where she leaves you alone until she wants attention, and then you give her attention for like 5 minutes and she's gone again. That's my kind of cat.
This week I picked up, like you, that TIE fighter from Jazzwares that came in from Amazon, along with the V-Wing. And I went to Target and I picked up a couple snow speeders, Micro Galaxy Squadron scale.
Yeah.
So I have those. May the 4th, I didn't pre-order much. I did get those Ewoks, and I got the Inquisitor, the Grand Inquisitor, the TVC thing. I also got the Starbucks mugs. There was a bit of like a moment of like, oh, I better hurry up and get that first, because last year it sold out like within an hour or two. And this year it's still available 3 or 4 days later. So either Disney's gone ahead and made more in response to the demand last year, or people just don't want them anymore.
Yeah.
Well, I also noticed they had the Christmas ornament version, so maybe everyone decided they just want the tiny mugs.
Maybe just little stippies.
Yeah.
Is that all I got? I ordered the retro collection box set for that last 12 of the first 12. The C3PO, the Jawa, all that guy. And that arrived today. So that was 3 days after I ordered it.
Yeah. That
same
was,
here.
Yeah, there was probably about half the people got those really fast.
I also got figure shield cases for my 40th anniversary Black Series just to protect those because I didn't realize that my Chewbacca Empire card was bent up, but whatever. I lived with it for 3 years. I can live with it permanently.
You'll be fine, Jason.
I'll be fine. I'll be
You
fine.
bent your
It's all
Wookiee.
fine. It's all fine here.
I built my Wookiee.
Um,
I'm Star Wars.
We've been so busy. I just also want to thank Dan Uthman because he picked up the Salacious pin at Star Wars Celebration Europe. And he
Yeah,
also fed us a lot of information from Jazzwares.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the information we got from Dan or from a lot of the information we got about Jazzwares at Celebration was from Dan. And he also picked me up a blind pack. So thank you, Dan. I appreciate that. You didn't have
Yeah, I got a little care package from Dan. Also, he sent me the Sabine pin, the Chopper pin, and the young Ahsoka pin. So thanks, Dan.
Thank
Wow,
you,
that
Dan.
guy is solid gold, man.
He really is. I wasn't expecting it. It was a surprise. I was like, oh, Dan sent me something. And there it was, all three of those pins. So thank you. That was awesome.
What about you, Tony?
I kind of went a little crazy on what, May the 5th or May the 4th? Was it May the 4th? I guess is when
Yes.
they put stuff on sale.
Yeah.
I got the Ewoks, I got the 6-pack, I got pretty much most everything. Most of the mainline figures I tend to pre-order the whole cases just because I like one to open and one to keep. So
Yeah.
they're usually 2 to a case for the most part. So I end up just doing that. And most of those cases are already on sale. It's just a blind box as far as the figures that are in it until they announce them. So,
Nice.
yeah, but I got that stuff. At the Gwinnett show, I picked up a, the marker posters with the 3D Darth Vader from Craftmaster, the vintage.
Yeah.
Piece. I got one of those. I got a Black Series, Death Squad Commander or Star Destroyer Commander, whatever he's called on that card. I think
Death
he's Death
Squad.
Squad. Yeah. Because there's a guy on Instagram that makes an upgrade kit to turn him into a Death Star gunner. So I was going to try and get that and do that with him since I don't have a spare.
Landspeeder Luke just dropped to make him Gargadin. What's the spy from A New Hope?
The guy with the nose?
Yeah.
The snout guy.
Yeah, the snout.
Snout guy. Snout man.
Yes.
That's what they named him back then. Walrus Man, Hammerhead, Snout Man. So Snout Man, Landspeeder Luke released files so you can turn that Death Squadron commander, whatever his name is, into that guy.
You'd have to do a lot of painting in that, wouldn't you?
You got to do painting for all those customizations.
Okay.
I thought he had a hood.
Yeah, the hood is part of the file.
Okay.
So
well, my problem with that is I need a 3D printer. So
yeah,
that's problematic.
Just a little bit.
That makes them quite expensive.
Yeah. Every time I go to Jason's house, I'm like, hey, that's the 3D printer. He's like, no, it's the washing machine. I'm like, oh yeah, you're washing clothes. He goes, no, that's the 3D printer. So it's one or the other's always running.
Yeah, so I also got non-Star Wars. I picked up a Secret Wars Doctor Doom with a clear bubble, which was really cool. I was kind of surprised to see a clear bubble on one of those, and the price was right. Yeah, and then I don't even remember. I don't know. That's about it.
Okay, we'll call it.
Yeah.
I got something else, but it was small.
No.
I'd have to look around to figure out what it was. But
Glenn, you were talking about the penny racers. I heard a anecdote that the current Guardians of the Galaxy Happy Meal toys are the last plastic use Happy Meal toys. They're phasing out plastic and Happy Meal toys. So currently, the Guardians are the last line that will use plastic in the Happy Meal.
What are they going to do from here on out?
I think they're going to have crap like Chick-fil-A where it's like, here's a coloring book.
Kids don't want to read, man. They want plastic crap.
So, anyways, that's what I know.
Well, here's a hack for Chick-fil-A people. If you buy a kid's meal and you don't want the book, you can turn it in for an ice cream cone.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
The more you know.
Mm.
I got some new, what?
Oh, and then Chick-fil-A will be, sir, you're an adult. Why are you doing this?
Because
Where's your child?
I identify
they're
as a
at
4-year-old.
the house.
According to Deadline, Taika's Star Wars project is going to film next year,
Huh.
which is interesting because there's no mention of that in Celebration. And I thought his movie was about the dawn of the Jedi, which is what James Mangold is working on. So, I don't know.
I
Okay.
am not going to get excited about any Star Wars movie until
Yeah.
Until you see it.
it's actually started filming. Anything that they're talking about, I'm not.
Until I see a trailer.
any emotion.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because the way things are going, they could like halfway start something and be like, oh, no, we're done.
Yeah, because what if they have competing Dawn of the Jedi movies happening? Is it James Mangold's or is it Taika's?
Right.
I don't know. When it came to where the new Rey movie is going to be, or the setting for the new Rey movie, Kathleen Kennedy told Empire Online, what we're exploring is the evolution of the Jedi. We're going very far back, which I think James Mangold. We're looking at the present, which is Dave Filoni's movie, and now we're moving 15 years after the Rise of Skywalker. The First Order has fallen. The Jedi are in chaos. There's even a question of how many exist anymore. And Rey's building the new Jedi Order based on the text that she was given from Luke.
Interesting.
And then Filoni spoke to Entertainment Weekly. Did my mouse just die? And Entertainment Weekly, and he was asked if Ahsoka was essentially Rebel Season 5, and he said, that's an interesting question. I suppose that's one way of looking at it because of the epilogue that I did in Rebels. Definitely all signs are indicating that there's a continuation. For me, when I'm telling those stories, I don't limit things like, oh, well, I did an animation, so I would do something differently in live action. There's just the story and that's it. I was telling it in one medium. Rebels is a different style than the Clone Wars. Even visually, that changed the way I could execute certain things in Rebels. The story kind of evolved since I worked on Rebels, working with Favreau and setting things down in The Mandalorian created an opportunity to see how does Ahsoka work as a character in live action.
Well, it certainly feels like we're getting Rebel Season 5, but I've been saying this. I think it's going to be like a 2 or 3 episode arc, and then there's going to be some other stuff go on.
Yeah.
Which I'm happy with. Just finish the story up. Let us know what happened. Don't do a 1 episode thing. Let do a good job with it, and I think everybody will be happy.
I mentioned this last night on the call. Walgreens near me has a healthy stock of Rogue One figures still. And there's 5.5, 6 years later, full price, $24, and they've already been reissued by Hasbro, but they're still there hanging out. You've got your Cassian and Jyn Erso still.
Yeah, the thing with that kind of stuff is like Walgreens, it's up to the manager to discount it. So if the manager doesn't want to discount it or isn't paying attention to what's going on, that stuff's just going to sit on the shelf. Because I've gone to Walgreens trying to find that stuff before, find something that was on sale at one Walgreens that sold out. And then you go to the next one and it's full price. And you're like, hey, this one had it on discount. And they're like, no, it all is up to the manager.
Yeah. Moving on.
How they get new sorry.
No, go ahead.
Right, you would think that's
I'm curious how they get new
do.
figures. Yeah. Because, they always have those big bins that they get stuff out of. They're not getting like
They don't get a
cases
case.
shipped to
Yeah.
each store. Yeah. So it's like, do they say, oh, we need some more Star Wars? And they send them, or do they just get stuff and put it out? And
Yeah,
or is it
because
like based on sales or something?
years after they were released, those first edition white box figures, the Black Series ones, were showing up at Walgreens in cases like you're talking about. Yeah. So some people got lucky. They were just a couple years later, they're walking through Walgreens and there's the first issue Mandalorian.
Nice.
Wow.
Another observation I made, you don't see the BB-8 stuff anymore. It's all Grogu now.
Yeah.
So BB-8 was killed by Grogu. You sit down, sir. I'm the cute one now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's definitely taken over. I mean, the grandkids love that stuff.
But it's all Grogu now. Anyways,
I'm sure BB-8's going to show up soon because they've got the new R2, the new R5. So I'm sure there's going to be some droid pack, and they're going to throw in a B. Maybe it may not be BB-8, but it'll probably be a BB unit.
yeah, he showed up in Rogue Almost One, that new Simpsons short. It was 4 minutes long.
I still need to
Yeah.
watch that.
Yeah, I
He
haven't
shows
seen
up
that.
in that. I'm like, oh, I remember that guy.
Maybe
Long
that's
ago.
why. Maybe if they painted the Star Cruiser green, people would show up.
Maybe put giant ears on the side. It's got a giant hand just waving out in front.
With them frogs bouncing around and stuff.
Yeah, spitting up blue cookies.
But
As we mentioned before, Hasbro had a live stream on May 4th, and they had the full team there. Emily, Chris, Patrick, and the other guy. Is it Ben? I can't remember his name. I'm looking at Tony. Hopefully he remembers. No.
no,
Follow
I
him
just
on
remember.
Instagram.
Huh?
I follow that guy on Instagram, and I can't remember his name.
I think I follow
Oh.
him too. He does a bunch of
Eric.
box.
Is it Eric?
Is that the guy that does a whole bunch of unboxing stuff on Instagram?
No, that's Steve.
Okay.
Maybe
Eric's
it's
one
Eric.
of the Eric's one of the Black Series designers, right?
Yeah, I think it's Eric then.
Yeah.
So
Eric
they released,
Fighter.
yeah, they released a Magna Guard, which will be a Walmart exclusive. Clone Wars, Ahsoka Tano, which is a Target exclusive. If it's anything like the credit collection, there'll be plenty of Ahsokas on the shelf. Darth Malgus is an Amazon exclusive. Wicket is a Hasbro Amazon exclusive, but it's the exact same Wicket that's out right now for the 40th anniversary. Just
Somebody had
repackaged in a green
Yeah.
box.
Did they change some of the accessories around on him?
They
Or
might
had-
have. They might have given him a different staff or something like that.
No, I'm pretty sure it's the same. I'm pretty
Jeez.
sure he and Chewbacca are exactly the same as the 40th anniversary.
Well, Chewbacca has a split in his hair. It's a different
Ooh.
molded head.
Hmm.
And he's a Hasbro Amazon exclusive. Glenn. Ooh, game changer. Time to take my
And-
money, Hasbro.
Yeah. Well, he also has a chain around his neck too, right?
Does
Yep.
he? No.
Yeah.
So he's from the opening scenes of the movie. Phase 2 Clone Trooper, Mandalorian from the Book of Boba Fett. He doesn't look too much different, but there is subtle differences. And then General Grievous battle damaged. There's whatever. Paz Vizsla. There's the pipeline. The pipeline. I thought we were done with Paz Vizsla. They've reused that guy 4 times already. I guess they're going to get one more with the 5th one.
Well, they've never put him on an archive card, so that's what makes him special.
Ugh.
And now I'm wondering if they get the chance to charge more for archive figures.
Probably.
That needs to go away. It's enough of that archive stuff. Grief Kargas, R4 Droid, Episode 1 Anakin, and Episode 1 Padme, and then Car Sativa was the play helmet that they announced in the pipeline. And it's just a rehash of the Wedge Antilles and Luke Skywalker helmet, just painted up differently with the New Republic stuff. And for the vintage collection, they only announced the Grand Inquisitor, Deluxe Luke and Grogu, which, as of the recording of this, we're still waiting for the pre-order to go up on Target. Supposed to go live May 4th. And Wicket and Nisa 2-pack with the coins. Nisa's coin is based on vintage Kenner artwork, which is cool. Pipeline included Bo-Katan Kryze, X-Wing pilot Luke, Darth Vader with more A New Hope accurate tooling, whatever. And then a stormtrooper in a new mold. So those were the things. The whole live stream was kind of a cluster. It was echoey. Like you could hear everyone echoing. And then at one point someone was like making some like burping, moaning noises.
Oh, geez.
And so
Now
I'm
I have
listening
to go back and watch it.
the same headphones that I have on right now. And sometimes it was coming through the left, but then I heard the burp and moaning going through the right. And it was just like, it was like a, it was just a weird sound. And I'm like, what the heck is going on there?
That was Grogu eating frogs.
Yeah, maybe. I thought Chris's R4 unit was pretty cool. I always admire when people have the patience and the funds, I guess, to make one of those droids, and his look legit. So
Oh, so that was his.
yeah, I thought that was his personal droid that he built.
Nice.
He's a big fan, and he worked with Jim Swearengin and Tim Effler and all that at one point. Did you guys watch because on May 4th they also dropped Vision season 2? Did you guys watch that?
I forced myself to watch it before we recorded. I think I got like 5. How many are there? 6?
7?
Yeah, 7 or 8.
I watched I'm Your
Listen to
Mother,
Tony.
and then the one like right after I'm Your Mother with the water, and then I think that's all I watched.
We need to talk about Screecher's Reach when you get to that one.
Okay.
9. Oh wait, that's season
9.
1. Sorry.
Is that the one that the
I know 9. There are 9 of them. Sorry.
the Grommet people made? Because I was trying to get to that one. Or was that I'm Your Mother?
That's I Am Your Mother. That's
That's I Am Your
Aardman
Mother.
animation.
Okay. That one was good. I enjoyed that one. That was probably the best of the bunch that I saw.
Screecher's Reach was heartbreaking. I don't want to hark on that one too much.
Okay, well, I'll watch it. And
Sky
we'll talk about it next
Dancer,
week.
Spy Dancer. Is that what it? I think it was Spy Dancer. That one, without spoiling, it just felt like it was the first chapter of a larger story,
Okay.
and I don't think they're ever going to approach it again or revisit it.
Well, they did that with a lot of them last year too. There was a couple of them where it felt like they were trying stuff out, like they were pilot episodes.
Yeah.
Well, the
I
Ronin
also-
they made a book about.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Maybe they'll do that with Spy Dancer. I also noticed that they were all female main characters.
I
Just
was
an obs-
noticing that myself.
It's just an observation. I don't read into that saying that Jason's anti-women or anything like that.
No,
I just noticed that there were all female driven stories.
well, which I'm cool with, because my grandkids are getting into Star Wars, and they got to have my granddaughter, the girls need something to look up to.
Yeah. But I don't want to say any more because you guys haven't seen it, but Screecher's Reach is probably I don't want to say any
Which
more.
number is it? And I'll go watch
It was
it.
a number 2? 2 or
Hold on.
3?
Yeah, it's the second one.
Okay.
Second
Hold
one.
on a minute. I did see it, but I'm not like,
That's the one where they go to the cave to see the ghost.
oh yeah. Yes, it did feel that way. I don't think it was necessarily, or because you're sounding like you're emotional about it, or you were just
the ending was kind of haunting for me,
okay.
but Tony hasn't seen it, so
It doesn't really matter to me. I mean, I was saying last night, according to Disney Plus, I've watched all of season 1, but I don't remember anything about season 1.
the thing about the ending of this one, Screecher's Reach, you think it's very ambiguous, and you think this angelic being is coming down to take the girl to go be a Jedi, but there's subtle disturbing elements in it where it's like, I don't think that's a Jedi. I think that's a Sith.
Especially because she said this lightsaber's yours, and she let her keep the lightsaber.
Let her keep the lightsaber, and she killed someone.
Yeah.
But the way they presented it, where it was just like an angelic being, like, come with me, and it's like she's gonna come and destroy the galaxy. Like she's destroying her life. To watch a little child destroy their life was disturbing.
Right.
All right, moving on. I like that one. I'll say it 5 more times before this episode's over.
You
okay?
will.
So-
You'll be like, man, that's Screecher's Reach, man. It really
Screecher's
got
Reach,
to me.
man.
It really got to me.
Sabine will be on next week.
Yes, she will be. Sometime in August, Sabine will be on.
Yeah. So that's all I had for the news this week. I'm curious, how was the Gwinnett Toy Show?
I really enjoyed it. It was a good show.
That was really good.
Was the same setup last year where out in the parking lot there were some people and inside there was more people?
Yeah.
Was the
There
Toys
was
R
a-
Us sign there?
Say that again?
Was the Toys R Us sign out there?
No, there was not a
No.
Toys R Us sign out there. There was
I regret that.
because the way this toy show started was there was a guy in Athens that passed away that was a big time collector, and he was basically would go to Walmart, Target, and whatever, and would buy case lots and just keep them in the boxes
Mhm.
from like the 80s on. And when he passed away, his widow reached out to the community, and they started selling his stuff. And last year, about I'd say a good was but over half of the inside section was his stuff, and it was just insane. Throughout the game, it ran the gambit of the 80s, so it was cool seeing that stuff. Even though I wasn't into most of it, but it was cool seeing, it was like walking into a Toys R Us in the 80s. This time it was just the stage and maybe a little bit around the stage, but for the most part, it was probably 25% of what it was last year. But he still had some good quality stuff. That's the guy I got the Gambits from. He had a bunch of X-Men stuff. He had some vintage Star Wars, which I thought like just run-of-the-mill vintage Star Wars, but they were all $20-$30 for complete Star Wars figures, which is very reasonable.
Now I regret not going.
They had a couple of the Action Fleet stuff, but the figures, the heads.
Oh, the Transform, were they boxed?
Yes.
How much were they?
$20 to $50.
Now I really regret not going.
I thought I should have sent you pictures.
It's all right. It's probably better that I didn't.
Well, I was like, Jason's trying to save money, so I didn't send you pictures.
Yeah, thanks. You got my back. I appreciate that. You did a favor.
Unlike you with that. Well, no, I did it enough to you. So you were. They had some prototype Galactic heroes, and you're just like, do it. And I'm
yeah,
like,
but that's your thing.
Yeah, they were. I thought they were kind of overpriced.
But it sounds like you're retiring from that.
No, I'm not retiring from it. I had just dropped a lot of money on May the 4th, and then somebody had released some Rebels patches, and I ended up buying the big patch and the little patch, and that was like $50 for patches, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna get yelled at for that one.
I'm gonna be asking for forgiveness later.
Right. So I didn't. I was just, it felt like they were overpriced. There was some, well, let me put it to you this way. There were probably 2 or 3 that was probably worth what he was asking for, and the rest was probably worth about half. And the ones that were worth it went really fast. And yeah. So Jason was trying to be the devil on my shoulder going, do it, buy them now.
Do it. It's your thing.
Yeah, I should have spent some money on those, but yeah, no. And then what else? It did have the typical, actually that show, if you were going to judge it just by swaps, it was if you want to judge like the Powder Springs swap versus that, the Gwinnett show was a better quality show, maybe because it was on a different side of town. So different vendors showed up.
And quality, you mean by the number of, which is what they offered? Yes.
There was, I think there were some killer deals to be had at that show.
Yeah, I mean, I think I got everything I got I thought was a deal.
Yeah.
I regret nothing.
What? I'm trying to think of what, I mean, there wasn't a whole lot of Star Wars. They had made it sound like there was going to be a lot of Star Wars. There was a lot of vehicles. I mean, granted, for their, the amount of vintage stuff that has been showing up lately, there was a lot of Star Wars. Because it felt like there, a couple of years ago, you'd go to a show and it'd be 25% Star Wars, and then it dwindled down to being less than 5% Star Wars. I'd say this brought it back up to about 25% Star Wars with the amount of stuff.
Yeah, and the guy on stage also had a bunch of boxes that weren't out that you could pull out, and a couple bins that you could pick through too.
Oh, was there anything?
Parts, especially parts.
Okay, yeah, I did remember seeing that he had some parts bins.
Yeah, and then a couple of giant Ziploc bags full of like loose incomplete figures.
Oh yeah, I saw those. They was wanting like $7 for.
Yeah, he also had one that was like $4, so it was like 7, 5, and 4 or something like that.
It's a good dude. I tell people, my theory with the show is you need to have some high priced items, but you got to have the cheap stuff because people are going to look and say, ooh, I can't afford that, but it's awesome. And then they're going to look over and see a $5 figure and spend $20.
Yep.
Any trends that you noticed? Because at the last Powder Springs Toy Show, I noticed like 5 different vendors had just stacks of VHSs, which hadn't been there at the previous toy show.
I noticed one or two people had VHS. I think that media is starting to make a comeback. VHS and cassette tapes. I'm noticing.
At least the collectability of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. If I'm not looking for it, I tend to get
You ignore
tunnel
it. You're like
vision.
me. You filter it out.
I don't
Yeah.
notice it. I wait for you to post a video of it, and then
Yeah, and then you're like, I missed that.
Yeah, somebody was like, "Oh man, there's all these YouTubers here," and I'm like, "Yeah, I don't like watching toy hunt videos. I'll watch Jason's, but I'll watch it in like fast forward. I do the same thing with Jordan, and it's like because you could watch it in fast forward, and then when you see something, you stop. Or I'll be like, "Hey, I'm in the video," and stop and see how much of an idiot, how bad of an idiot I am, and then just keep going.
Was there a lot of YouTubers there?
I didn't see anybody, but we also got there about an hour late.
Jordan
and-
was there, and
Yeah, Jordan, but
you were
Jordan
there.
didn't get there till.
Technically, you're a YouTuber now.
Yeah, I guess we are now that we're on YouTube since we did so. Hey, anybody that's new to the show, welcome. Welcome.
I love that.
Hello there. Oh, I did shoot. I'm gonna go back. I went to Lego on May the 4th just to see what they had, and there was a dude dressed up as General Kenobi, and he went, "Hello there," and I went, "General Kenobi," and they're like, "Ooh, you were the first one to say that," and I'm like, "Can I get something free?" And they were like, "No."
No.
Lego
So-
now.
I
So
think the
thanks,
line
Ted.
is
Huh?
General Kenobi.
Yeah.
Anyways.
So thanks for that, Ted. Thanks for that earworm. I knew what to say when somebody said hello there.
So it was just more of the same old, same old. It was just a lot of higher end
Mhm.
stuff.
Better quality, not necessarily higher end pricing, but better quality.
Okay.
Because when I consider,
I did notice a lot of Hot Wheels, a lot more Hot Wheels than I usually see.
yeah, I did notice that there was a dude there that had a lot of Hot Wheels. He also had a tub full of Galactic Heroes, still in the box that I was kind of tempted to throw a lowball offer at him to see if he'd bite, but I don't need a whole bunch of boxed Galactic Heroes.
Any Rainbow Bright out there?
My wife picked up some glowworms.
Oh, okay.
So the girl stuff's making not a comeback, but you are starting to see a lot more girl stuff pop in.
I'm pretty sure I saw some strawberry shortcake outfits.
Oh.
Someone had.
Well, cool.
You missed a good show. I'll just put it to
Yeah.
you that way. It was a good time. I like going to shows even if I don't have money to spend because you get to see all your friends and you get to hang out and make connections.
I also want to mention, and sorry, Tony, you didn't make it to this. The Return of the Jedi. We saw that in the theater. We had an impromptu meetup at the theater in Ackworth. It was only showing in 450 theaters. I reached out to the Movie Tavern in Roswell to see if they were showing it and if we could get some sort of private screening for the club. And they said it was only in 450 theaters. And then someone pointed out that Raiders of the Lost Ark and Return of the Jedi was in Ackworth. So then I quickly threw together a post and people came out. And it was good to see it on the big screen. I had to use the restroom for the It's a Trap part, which I regret.
Yeah,
I should have known better.
Dude, you missed it.
I should have known better.
Yeah.
I did notice, and I don't know if it's just not registered at the end when they're the celebration scene on Naboo. You do see Gungans, and at one point you did hear Jar Jar go, "We are free," but they toned that down in this version.
No.
It's there. It's just not in your face like it was in the previous version.
Right.
I mean, I wouldn't have noticed it because I usually just sing Yub Nub in my head.
Yeah, Yub Nub.
That scene plays.
Dude, I'm mad that they took that song out because when that movie, I was like 7 or 8 when that movie came out, and that song was everywhere. I mean, I roller skated to that song, and then they took it out.
Why did they take it out?
I don't know. It was awesome.
Was it something to do with like the translation of what they were saying?
I don't know. It was like All You Need Is Love. I think that's how Yub Nub.
It's like celebrate the love.
Celebrate the love.
Yeah, exactly.
Celebrate the love.
And then they took it out. But did you see that? Did you see at the end, right before they rolled the credits, what popped up? Somehow Palpatine returned.
Yeah. The Rise of Skywalker destroyed the ending of Return of the Jedi because as the Emperor's being thrown down the shaft, I'm like, well, somehow he'll return.
Yeah.
Well, I'm surprised they didn't add him screaming, "I'll be back" as he falls down the shelf. Down
I
the
did.
shaft.
I did notice, like, just seeing it on a big screen again. You're noticing, like, the big ships. You're noticing stuff in the background, like all the bigger ships. You're noticing the rebel troop transports tucked up inside of them and things. Stuff like that. And I got to see how bad your boy was a perv. Salacious Crumb. He was a little perv.
Crumb, get it right, damn it.
Crumb.
Salacious
I said
B. Crumb.
Crumb. I said Crumb.
You said Scrum.
Scrum. Well, whatever. He was there's a scene where Leia's sleeping on Jabba and he is just staring her up and down. I'm like, look at the little pervert.
According to Google, because we know everything you read on the internet is true, George Lucas wanted to revisit prequel era planets, and he just felt that Yub Nub didn't have the gravitas that he was looking for a galactic celebration. So he took it out.
Well, you messed it up, George Lucas.
Anyways. Yeah,
no,
because you've got all dude. And then,
out.
what was that, Tony?
I said I was disappointed I missed it. It wasn't playing here, and yeah, I would have had to driven like an hour to go see it. And
well, if you have movie reward points from Disney movie rewards, May 25th, they're going to be dropping that new poster.
oh, okay.
So they didn't hand anything out at the theater we saw.
I had
No.
heard that was only AMC was doing the poster handout.
Well, we didn't have an AMC near us showing it,
Right.
unfortunately. They get all the good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, here's another reason why I didn't like them taking Yub Nub out is because you got all the white boy dancing to, they're dancing to Yub Nub, which probably looked good, but now they're dancing to whatever musical note high class song they're doing, and they just look out of place. The pilots and stuff dancing.
Yeah.
Jason's like, whatever.
It didn't.
Whatever.
I
It doesn't matter.
I have the original version. It didn't look good to Yub Nub either. It looks just as awkward. It's all awkward.
Yeah. I did like that meme that I saw like a week before. So I started laughing when Luke is like at the end of the movie, he's got his hand on a tree and he's looking at his Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Yoda, and he's just smiling. And it's the meme like when I leave my Star Wars room or my action figure collection, the last look I give it. And so I started laughing when I saw that scene.
So speaking of action figures, the Force Ghost 3-pack that they're releasing, everyone was complaining about how tall Anakin is. He's really tall in that scene. Like he's like a head above Obi-Wan almost in that final scene.
Were they saying that Anakin was too big?
Yeah. I mean, he looks surprisingly tall, but he also looks surprisingly tall in the movie. So
I don't know. I just closed my eyes during that scene because I'm still mad that they put Hayden Christensen in it.
you just hold your thumb up.
I don't see you.
Well, when they did that 40 Tales from Star Wars A New Hope, when Obi-Wan gets killed in that section of the story, he reverts back to his prequel version, and then he kind of ages himself up through the Force to Alec Guinness. You don't remember that, do you?
I have the book, but I haven't gotten that far to it.
So when I read that book, I was like, okay, so he's becoming his own self again, his old self again, his younger version, I should say. Not old self, but like the older, long time ago kind of. Anyways, it makes sense in my head. He becomes young again.
Okay. Your headcanon, it works. I mean, I can understand why George Lucas did that because everybody that saw the sequels or prequels would have been like, who's this old guy? But it's like you just saw him without his mask on, so you know who he is.
They removed his eyebrows. I don't know if you were aware of that.
Oh, no.
When they take Vader's mask off because they're supposed to get burned off. And then they changed his eye color to match Anakin's because I think Sebastian Shaw was a green-eyed individual and Anakin or Hayden Christensen's blue.
Ooh.
Little details that bothered George Lucas and nobody else. Anyways, how was Kane County?
Kane County was great.
Is that like the toy show of all toy shows?
I would think it's between Kane and Columbus, probably, because Columbus is really big too.
Hmm.
Yeah, Kane County is it takes place at the Kane County Fairgrounds, which is probably about 20-30 minutes west of Chicago. It's just a big fairgrounds. There are like 7 buildings full of toys. A lot of people show up. There's a lot of trading going on around it. I guess it's a 1-day show, but you can pay for what they call floor rights, and you're basically a vendor without a table. So you can get in and go early on Saturday during setup. And Sunday morning they wave you in. You don't have to wait in line. You just roll in, and you can park on the fairgrounds as opposed to having to park in the big parking lot.
So Saturday's set up and Sunday's the show itself?
Correct.
Okay.
So you also get in at 6 a.m. on Sunday, and the show starts at 8 a.m. on Sunday.
Wow. How much does that run?
It was $50.
Wow. Ouch.
It's not for what's there.
Yeah.
I went for the experience, so I didn't really mind.
I probably would have done it too, because there's nothing quite like, once you shop a toy show like during setup, there's nothing quite like it.
Yeah. Yeah. And then it's kind of an old school. Well, this was its 50th year.
Wow.
And it's kind of family run. So they have like 4 hotels that you get, that are like show hotels. But one of them, the main hotel, it's like, I think it's a Comfort Inn. They buy all 90 rooms. And then to stay there, you basically go through the show itself. And they make a list of everyone staying there. And it's like, that's room sale. So starting Wednesday through Friday.
Wow.
It's like the first 2 floors of that hotel. It was like all doors were open. All rooms were like packed. Every surface, tables, shelves, everything. I mean, some rooms had like little couches and they were covered in stuff. Some had hot tubs. If you've ever been to one of those hotels that has a hot tub in the bed area, some of the rooms had that, and people had like folding
Classy,
tables, like with the legs like in the hot tub and stuff on them. Some people had the tubs covered. One room I went in, and his bathroom door is open, and he had just like bins, like 5 or 6 bins just stacked on the toilet.
That's one way to keep people from using your toilet.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah. Some rooms were just like bed. I walked into one room, and like the bed is covered, and there's a girl just sitting in one corner. There's one corner. Like, she can't get out. I don't know how she even she got on the bed, and I guess it's like handing her food or something. And she's like trapped in there, and
You stay in your corner.
Middle, yeah.
Just watch, make sure nobody's stealing anything.
You play with your Hot Wheels.
But it was crazy. Yeah, it's like a toy shop on 2 floors, just all toy shops.
That's amazing. I bet
Everything.
that was incredible.
Yeah.
So what was something incredible you saw that night or those nights? See anything?
I mean, there was some crazy stuff. There was some good Star Wars stuff. One guy had pretty much an untouched Death Star, which is something I've been looking for. I was open but unused contents. But the foam was still sealed, but it had all like rotted or shrunk. So the bag was like kind of puffed with air, and the foam was just all gross and nasty, kind of floating around the bag.
Yeah.
I was like, I would have bought that, but yeah, the foam made me sad. So.
Well, it's gonna that doesn't exist anymore. That foam, right? It's pretty much dissolving.
I mean, it's there. My Canadian Death Star still has it.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Don't you know?
They know. They know what about that.
Yeah, there were people with like old tin toys. There was one room that had like, it was all like 40s and 50s like wind up and tin toys.
See, I'm not into that stuff, but it's cool to see.
It's stuff you wouldn't see all together,
right?
Almost anywhere.
Right.
I think it's called the Great Garloo. Is that one of those blow mold toys from the 60s?
You're asking the wrong guy.
Several of those, yeah. Which is weird because you never see them. I don't think you really ever see them down here, but Yeah,
Mhm.
up there I saw like a lot, and with boxes.
Hmm.
Some rooms are like just like full of like old and new diecast trucks and cars. It's like the Hot Wheels guy. Everything was just every surface covered with toy with cars and trucks.
Damn.
So it sounds like a lot of people travel to this and they bring their A game.
Yeah, and some people don't even set up at the show. Some people just go and stay in the hotel and sell out of the hotel.
Oh, so that the
So,
hotel is part of the experience. You have to do that.
Yeah.
and you can get in there. I guess you can get in there without having a room. So
Yeah, you didn't need a ticket. Like no one checked anything.
you mean you don't need a ticket to the convention to get into room sales?
No, it's crazy.
Wow, what a concept. That's great.
But yeah. I know. Sorry.
Anywho.
What was the best deal that you saw at room sales? What was like an incredible thing? Like I've never seen that before. That's incredible. Like,
Wise, I don't know. I didn't really. I mean, we didn't get there until Thursday, and apparently Wednesday there's deals that go down. Like that's when all the vendors buy from each other. So that's when the really big deals happen. I didn't really see anything that I thought was a great deal. There was some cool stuff. Joel Slater, one of the guys I was with, he bought a Evil Knievel, the Evil Knievel motorcycle. He bought the box, and I can't remember what it had that, but then it had something else inside of it that was like completely different. He didn't know about, and the guy who sold it to him didn't know about. So he just found it when he got home.
So was it?
but he just bought the box at the time.
Yeah, he was just looking for the box.
But it had like a Power Ranger inside.
Yeah, I should have asked. I forgot to ask him.
It had like a DT Luke or something crazy, or a DT Ben.
So that was room sales.
Yeah. And then Saturday morning, the grounds open at 9. What happens? I didn't participate in this. We got there a little bit after 9. At 6 a.m., people start lining up. So they have a huge parking lot, and they line all the cars up in rows. And then as the grounds open, they let one row in after the other, because you can park as vendors. You can park like within the grounds, like next to where you're vending from, so you can load in and out. But at 6 a.m., they get there and they all start trading. They open up the tailgates, open up the sides of the vans, and everyone's trading.
Man.
So we didn't make it for that. We decided to show up after the gates opened, so there wouldn't be a huge wait in the freezing cold, because about the time we got there, it started sleeting.
Yeah.
And
I hate sleet.
Yeah, and then about 9:30, once we were on the grounds, 9:30, 10 o'clock, it started snowing, and it snowed for a couple hours.
Damn.
It was warm enough that it didn't stick, but it was kind of weird to be there in April and be walking through snow.
Yeah. Well, dude,
Well,
the
for
weather's
some
been,
people it's weird.
yeah, the weather
Well-
here has been weird. So
Not for me.
Well, I told the guys, because it was me and 2 of the guys from Canada that went early on Saturday, and I was like, as a Georgian, we should probably abandon the car and go on foot. My suggestion.
We might be here for 24 hours.
right. They're just like, we got this, eh?
Yeah. Yeah. So they let people in at 9, and everyone's setting up. And that's the time, if you're the type of person who wants to, make an offer on a tub of stuff, or you want to get, the best stuff, you're there and you're running around, and they have, like I said, they had 7 buildings. One of the buildings is like a really nice, like, I think it's called something like the Prairie Event Center. And it's like air conditioned, heated, nice floors. It's like it's like the kind of standard place you would go to a big toy show at. And then there's the trades, which is basically a heated and cooled barn, like an old gymnasium from the 70s almost. And then they had 2 buildings that were just like metal barns. no heating, no cooling.
Ooh.
You'd walk along and, there'd be people just bundled up, sitting, shivering. Cause it was like 35, 40 degrees.
Ouch.
And there was probably probably one of the best deals that day was probably there, because there was this table that was it's like they just took a tub and just dumped it out on the center of the table. And at the end, they had a ton of Star Wars stuff. And
Vintage
they
or
were
modern?
selling that. Vintage. And there were some pretty good deals there. I think I got there a little late. So there really wasn't much left. I think most things have been picked over at that point.
Always a bridesmaid, never a bride.
Yep. But overall, it was really good. And, people are still loading in. So you can circle it like 3 or 4 times and you see new stuff every time.
That's yeah.
That
Sounds amazing, dude.
Yeah. If you've been to Xenia, which, you have, Glenn,
Yeah.
it's not as big as Xenia, so it really isn't that bad to, it's not a circle like Xenia, how you can kind of do a loop through all the buildings.
Right.
It's kind of a line. So you're basically going, 1, 2, 3, and then go to one building and then another building, and then you can double back and
Oh, yeah, because
circling
what you're saying is each building in Xenia had a loop in it. So this had each building there had an in and an out.
yeah.
So it was like a straight shot through a building.
Yeah, like one was situated east-west, and then another was north-south, and then the 2 barns were basically north-south, but they were open on each end, so you could go through one and then circle through the other. And then there's the swine pavilion, which is basically a concrete slab with a roof and chain link walls.
Oh,
It's like an open air, and yeah, so you have people set up there, and they were really cold.
obviously.
Yeah. I
Well,
can
you
just
would-
feel
you
it
would
in my
think-
bones.
Yeah, you would at least know, hey, I'm set up in that building. You could bring a tarp or something to put over the chain link.
Yeah, I wonder if there's a pecking order. I want to get the heated
Well,
room.
the tables are cheaper in the swine pavilion.
Oh, that makes sense.
Pay more for the heat. The convenience is
one
a
of-
matter, man.
One of our friends, he set up there, and he set up there because he wants to get in early, but then he wants to offset, his purchases by trying to sell some stuff. So
That's the way you do it, man.
he kind of got there and, put like one thing on his table, and then he went shopping. So he satisfied the setup rules, and then he went shopping, and then he didn't really set up a lot of stuff until Sunday morning.
Wow.
Yeah, so and then you're just walking back and forth, and people are putting new stuff out.
How were prices?
I mean, they were reasonable to a lot.
Okay. Like a lot, meaning like it was inflated prices, or like, yeah, I expect that piece to be that price.
I mean, there were some prices that were a little higher than I thought they should be, but for the most part, everything was reasonable, but high. High, as the market,
Yeah.
dictates.
And would you say it was majority vintage, or is it a mix of vintage and modern, Target threw up kind of stuff, Black Series, Marvel Legends?
Vintage and modern. As far as Star Wars, probably a lot more vintage. But overall toys, it was a pretty good mix between vintage and modern.
Nice.
Did you see any Micro Galaxy Squadron?
I did. As a matter of fact, here I have a show and tell.
Yeah.
I picked up a white TIE fighter.
Nice.
Nice. I was setting that up. I knew you picked that up.
Hey, I was like waiting. He was like, I saw the TIE fighter. I'm like, watch this. Picked up a freaking Sabine.
I got a Sabine TIE fighter.
I don't know. I didn't ask the guy, but the guy who had it, he was selling it for $55, and he was like, I'm not charging eBay prices. I'm going to make some money off of it. But
Yeah, that's a nice guy.
I figured I would, I would be nice enough to,
Nice that I just scored 40.
Yeah, triple profit on it.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
fine.
All right.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, that was cool. That was an unexpected pickup, because I think I haven't seen a lot of those at shows. I haven't seen a lot of,
Yeah, there were
I-
like,
the chase stuff at any shows, really.
yeah, I've been trying to watch out for that stuff just to see, and you're not seeing it. I think I saw 2 yesterday, and they were just common stuff.
Yeah. Like the only chase or rare, I can't remember. The 15,000 one was the AT-AT, or sorry, the ATST,
Mhm.
the Klatooinian Raider one.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the only one that's like the only chase I've ever seen at a show. And that was at Xenia.
When I
See,
was
I
at
even-
PowerCon in Columbus in October, right when the Imperial Troop Transport was hitting the market at Walmart, it's because it's Walmart exclusive. They were wanting like $45, and I'm glad.
Yeah.
You know, I decided to wait because now they're everywhere.
Right. And they're $10 at our Walmart. I almost picked one up
They
just
are?
for grins and giggles.
I was
Oh,
there
well-
last night. I didn't see it for $10.
Our Walmarts are ride or die retail.
On Bell's Ferry, the Bell's
Yeah.
Ferry Walmart. Yeah, they
Yeah.
had them marked. I mean, maybe somebody bought them all.
I didn't see them marked for that price. I'll have to
Oh.
go back and check. Anyway, sorry. Back
Yeah.
to Tony.
Oh, yeah.
Go,
What did you
Tony,
pick?
go.
Besides the white TIE fighter, did you pick anything up at Kane County?
Yeah, I picked up a few things. I had never actually seen this, and it looks surprisingly nice compared to other figures. The Gamorrean Guard Bindum.
Oh,
Yeah, I didn't know they
I was
made one of
surprised
those.
how cool it looked.
Yeah.
So I had to get him. And I picked up so Todd Chamberlain had a Super Snipe print, a Macquarie print, that was water damaged, but you know, it's a Super Snipe, so I got that.
okay.
Since that's something I really wanted. The plaints, I don't know if you remember what plaints are. They're like the little watercolor paint set that Kenner produced in the 70s.
Mm-mm.
They're like little paint pots that you pour water into, and it's supposed to be clean. So play paint, but it's not supposed to be like super messy.
Oh,
And they did like the posters, like, oh shit. Like, I don't know if you can see this here.
yeah.
But that.
Okay.
So
Is that framed?
I bought a shadow box
Oh, okay.
to keep it in because I'm terrified of damaging it.
So to describe what it is, it looks like a page of Vader and Darth Vader fighting each other with the paints in front of it.
Yeah, it's kind of like a paint by numbers.
Okay.
But it's not, but it doesn't have numbers. They had a lot of those, like the marker thing, which I bought yesterday. Some guy had this, he had the marker, he had all the marker pieces, and then he also had I also bought, well, I'll rewind a little bit. So one of the guys were there with Jimmy Mack, James McCallum. He knew this guy, he had bought some stuff from him previously, and he was buying this. He actually bought this from the guy. But because it was 4 guys in a car driving back to Canada, he was afraid that this was just going to get destroyed in the car, or someone was going to have to hold it like the entire way back. Because it's almost perfect. Like it's still shrink wrapped,
Wow.
and it's not. There's a couple nicks on it, but it's really nice. So he ended up selling it to me the Saturday night.
Wow.
Which was great because I really wanted. He posted it in our chat, and I just happened to be walking by as he was doing the deal. I'm like, holy crap! If only I'd been here like 5 minutes earlier. But then I ended up, from that same guy, I bought a land speeder that was open but unused. So it had the inserts, no stickers applied. And the guy, he didn't have the instruction book with it, but he says he has it. So I need to follow up and see if he has
Really
that.
has it. Yeah, it really has.
Because he had actually submitted it to AFA, but I think he had included the wrong catalog, so they rejected it.
Oh,
Oh,
So he decided not to bother with resubmitting it, and yeah, I picked
Yeah.
it up.
that costs money.
yeah.
Exactly. I got this, which is a Luke X-wing that's completely disassembled.
That's cool. So is that
Not
non-sonic?
pre-production.
Is it pre-production?
No, it's not. I'm
No.
pretty sure that someone popped the head and broke it apart because it is extremely worn,
Okay.
or it just fell apart. But I thought that was funny. It was like $5.
Oh, there you go.
But yeah, the show runs the gamut because yeah, people, they're like doing yard sales all spring,
Mm-hmm.
and then they just show up there and dump everything out.
Cool. So
Um,
yeah, go ahead.
Oh, and I was gonna say, and then Sunday, the main show, if you have floor rights, I don't know if I mentioned floor rights is what they call the early bird ticket. If you're not a vendor, but you can get in, they call it floor rights. But floor rights holders, they get in at 6 a.m. and then the main gates open at 8. So
What time did you
yeah,
get
that
there?
morning I got up early, and I got there about 7,
Okay.
I guess. Because we were staying at Airbnb, about 8 of us, and we had to be out by I think 10 or 11 anyway. So I just woke up at like 5:30 and got ready, packed my stuff, packed the car, and just headed out and headed to the grounds.
How was that hanging at an Airbnb with a bunch of collectors? Was it a great time? You guys
That was
hanging out?
fun. It was
Yeah.
really fun. So
Yeah.
it was 8 of us. There were 6 beds.
Oh,
couch.
Wait, the
Lord.
math. Let's figure out.
So who was Little Spoon and who was Big
Yeah,
Spoon?
who's spooning?
Yeah.
You?
That was tight. No. I got there early enough that I'm like, guys, I snore a lot, so I'm gonna take this room, if that's cool.
And they were like,
Luckily, it had
sure.
a double bed, so I didn't have to feel bad about, being not sharing, not offering to share the bed.
Yeah.
But it was cool because I was, myself, Joel Slater, Robert Ortiz,
Yep.
Jimmy Mack, Toby Black, Todd Thornhill, and Chris Porteous. Those 4 guys are all from Canada,
Yeah.
so they drove down. And then Mac Dunbar Bickmore stayed a couple nights, not every night. He rode the couch, but
That's still
And-
fun. I mean, just
Yeah.
hanging
That was
out,
great. I
talking
mean,
toys.
yeah, and Ortiz, he pretty much cooked almost every night, or pretty
Oh,
much.
nice. Good cook.
Yeah, really
Yeah.
good.
Good
Really
Lord.
good. He made breakfast. A couple mornings. I wasn't there Saturday and I wasn't there Sunday, so I don't know I don't think he did breakfast on Sunday, but I definitely know he did breakfast on Saturday. But I was up and I was like, I'm here for the experience. I want to get to the toy show early.
Yeah.
Right.
Good for you. It sounds like it was a fun time.
Yeah.
Would you recommend people going to it?
Yeah, definitely.
I'll put it on the bucket list.
I drove.
Yeah, I was
So
going to ask, did you
recommend-
drive or fly? But
Yeah, I drove. I definitely recommend people from Georgia driving with me so that I don't have to drive for 12 hours. I split it up. I stopped in Lexington on the way up,
Yeah.
which is about halfway. And then on the way back, I stopped in Cincinnati, which is a little less than halfway.
yeah, I'm going to Chicago in July. So
Did you see anything cool in Cincinnati? Did you at least go by tour department or anything? Or
I went by tour department on Monday. Didn't really see a whole lot. It's the usual stuff.
yeah.
have.
Had they completed their move?
No, so I went to Jungle Gyms, which is up Dixie Highway from them. And as I'm driving down to them, I noticed their sign and their van out in front of what looked like a Harley dealership, which is where they're moving. There's an old Harley dealership that they're moving into.
Mhm.
So it's got their sign up, but the windows still have all the Harley Davidson stuff on it. And yeah, they said it'll be a few more months before they
Gotcha.
actually move. But he said it's going to, be a huge amount of floor space and a ton of back room too. Because
If it's an old
size.
Harley dealership, I'd assume that's a pretty big room.
Yeah, it looked really big. So
That's-
yeah, I think he said that, obviously they have to do the windows and I don't know
And the
how
walls.
much- yeah. I don't know how much build out there's going to be or if they're already working on that.
I know what you did there. Did you catch that, Tony? To the window.
In the walls, to the sweat drip down my.
Anyways, moving on. Tony,
Sorry,
good time,
YouTube.
huh?
How would you compare it to Xenia? Is it? You said Xenia was a bigger show.
I think square footage wise, I feel like Xenia is bigger,
Uh-huh.
but I felt like quality wise, Chicago is better. And you have the room sales. Like that's huge. Like that.
Yeah, that sounds like something you can't skip, and it's
Yeah.
unique to Kane.
That sounds incredible. Just going up there for room sales, because like the Xenia show, there's not really room sales there.
Yeah. I'm really curious if there is something, if there will be something.
Well, you get enough Star Wars collectors together, there'll be room sales.
Yeah.
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 Until the hotel shuts it down.
Right.
Yeah, well, the trick is to just rent out the whole hotel. That's really the trick to having room sales is
Good point.
book the whole hotel.
There we go. Well, we need to remember that, Jason.
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, it's I don't know. I felt like, yeah, I'd say Chicago's quality wise is probably a little bit better. I know there's a lot more variety at Xenia,
Mm-hmm.
but it just seemed like there was a lot nicer stuff. Like, you know, there's like 2 truckloads of 10 toys at Xenia and 1 truckload at Kane, but man, the ones at Kane the paint is nicer. You know?
Yeah, yeah. Now talking to you about it, it is something that's in the back of your mind. It's like that'd be a cool show to go to. Because me and Mandy, we actually flew into St. Louis one time and took Route 66 up through Chicago, and then on our way to Wisconsin, and that was kind of cool. But yeah, we've done that trip where you stop somewhere in Kentucky and then you drive the rest of the way.
Yeah.
So it's not too bad.
Yeah. And then, yeah, like I said, in the Airbnb thing, there's talk of doing it again. There's talk of maybe doing it for Xenia.
Which is what, 6 hours away? It's a little bit better than 12.
Yeah.
Well, 8,
But, yeah.
not 8, a little bit more than 8. You know,
But
Oh, maybe
Xenia,
for you, it's a little bit different.
Yeah, Xenia, you're home base in Cincinnati, and then you drive up to Xenia.
Yeah. Yeah, but October is crazy because it's like Xenia, Chicago, and then Cincinnati. Because Chicago is I think it's the 4th Sunday of April, July, and October.
Wow. Because I know Xenia is like one weekend, and then Cincinnati is the next weekend, and it's Halloween. One of them's falling on Halloween.
Well, no, this year Xenia is, I think, the first weekend, first Saturday in October.
Of October?
I think so. Yeah, because I think Xenia is Saturday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So October 1st falls on a Sunday, so the first Saturday is Xenia,
Mm-hmm.
and then the last Sunday is Cincinnati, I think.
Oh.
So they're pretty separated. They're not apart.
Well, that's good because all the vendors last year were griping and moaning because they had to pick and choose which one they went to. And if they did do both, they had to be prepared to bring different setups.
Yep. Yeah.
But as a buyer, it was incredible. That was one of the best weekends ever. To hit 2 amazing toy shows back to back. But I think if we do it again, I think it'll be Xenia will be a trip I make with my wife, and Cincinnati will be a trip I make with the guys. Because she enjoyed Cincinnati, but Xenia was more of her cup of tea because she likes the dirty. And when I use the word dirty,
she would like Chicago a lot because I mean they're very similar. But
gotcha.
In the kind of stuff that they have. So
yeah.
But yeah, it was cool. I'd do it again.
Cool. Yeah, I keep hearing Kane County. So I mean, it's definitely
Well, it was one of those things. It's like I wasn't going to Celebration, so
Yeah, might as
seemed
well go to
something-
that.
That was a good replacement. And especially
Yeah.
when a bunch of guys, from the chat decided they all wanted to go and
Makes sense.
we all hung out. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it's cool when you are able to hang out with your friends that you've made online and you don't, or your friends you only get to see once or twice a year. It makes the trip that much better.
Yeah. It was funny. I think, so that we weren't supposed to have parties or anything or extra guests. So Saturday night, of course, we had a party. Probably about 20 people, I guess, showed up, and
Who was swinging from the chandelier?
no one. It was all right. We joined the chat for a while. I don't know if you guys were on that night.
No, I wasn't able to get on that night.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
good.
it was a pretty good time. Yeah, so a bunch of the vendor guys, a bunch of the guys that were there vending came.
Very cool.
Did you have your own room sales?
Mark Huckabone showed up, and that's when the sales started.
There's nothing better. One of my best memories is hanging out and somebody just shows up with a bunch of stuff and then he's trying to sell stuff and you got a drunk guy right next to him giving him crap and I'm trying to buy stuff off of him. And it just, with some of those, when you get a bunch of drunk people trying to buy stuff, it's pretty fun.
Yep.
And it's
Cool.
it's just people hanging out at a house.
Yeah, a lot of beer. We went to David Kevin White's house on Friday to see his collection.
Did you get some spotted cow?
We got a lot of spotted cow. I did not get enough spotted cow. I'm down to 4.
Oh, cases or beer?
Just beers.
Oh, wow.
I'm gonna offer to pay for David to just ship his clothes if he comes to the summer social and just fill his car up with spotted cow.
Nice.
But yeah, he had door prizes at his house, so I got a nice little headless hammerhead.
Oh, that's awesome.
But probably some of the tightest limbs I have ever seen.
Of course.
But he's missing a head.
Jeez.
Small details.
Yeah. So I'm
yeah.
really thinking about army building hammerheads.
Yeah, that's another thing you missed out on at the show. They had a dude there with a bunch of headless Black Series figures that could have been used for customization.
Oh yeah, that's great for customizing. That's customizing fodder right there.
Yeah, and that's what he did. He was using the heads for Mandalorians to make custom Mandos.
Oh well,
Yeah.
I'll be fine. I'll be fine.
Yeah,
I'll
I saw
survive.
those. I didn't really realize that's what he was doing. I didn't talk to him. I just figured it was just custom fodder.
Yeah,
Well-
that's pretty much. Well,
I was going to talk about another toy show coming up.
yeah, you should share do you have the screen since we're doing YouTube stuff? We can we don't have all that. We're not that smart.
I mean, we could, but that'll take 5 minutes, and people listening don't want to listen to us try to figure out because you're not
Right,
gonna edit it
we're
out.
old. We need to do better.
Just fix it. You can fix it.
Well, if I had access to it, I'd be able to do it.
Oh,
'Cause I'm-
well,
I didn't mean that came out like harsh. Anyway,
it really did.
yeah, I'm sorry. The Georgia Alliance of Star Wars Collectors is hosting its first and probably only toy show on Saturday, May 13th from 11 to 4. It's Second Chance Toys and Collectibles. This toy show is to benefit the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. The event is free to the public, and we'll have plenty of vendors to shop from. I'm starting to release the raffle prizes on the page. So if you're hanging out on Facebook, go to the events and figure out where to find the Georgia Alliance of Star Wars Collectors toy show.
If you
GASWC.
just search Second Chance Toy Show or no, I was going to say Gwinnett Toy Show, but that was this weekend.
Yeah, the GASWC toy show.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Sounds cool, guys.
it's
Are you
awesome.
going to come, Tony?
Actually, yes. I thought I was going to have family in town, so
Well,
I
just
had
bring
marked
him with
myself
you.
as interested. That's probably a pass.
I've confirmed.
But they're only going to be in town for 4 hours on
Oh,
Fridays.
okay.
That's the best kind. They're in and out.
Exactly.
I have confirmed with the 501st that they'll have a couple people there, so it's probably going to be more than one. I don't know if that's 2 or 3 or 4, but we'll have costume people there in
Yes.
different characters. So I look forward to seeing all the photos later on. 100% of the raffle proceeds will go to the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. We'll also be accepting donations. I was making shelf talkers today, 15-inch black plastic shelf talkers with the Star Wars logo on it. It fits the Detolf cases perfectly. I'll be selling those for $30 each. I'll have 9 of them, and 100% of that will go to charity. We'll go to CHOA, and I'm looking forward to this event.
Yeah, it's been It's a lot tougher than what we think, than what you
Yeah.
think it is putting a show together.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah, I can
Yeah.
imagine.
All right. Anything else? I was just.
No, I think that's everything,
Now I feel bad. I didn't mean to say. Like, give it to me. I'll take care of it.
Well, at least I shared enabled you to share the screen, but that's something. This is all YouTube things new to me, so we're so used to being an audio only podcast. But
Yeah,
then
we should still focus on being audio only, though.
Well, the YouTube thing kind of blew up last week.
Yeah, you never know.
Oh,
It's
really?
not going to after this week. Us arguing. The hosts don't even stand each other.
Right. Well, it
Sorry,
makes for
Tony,
a
you were
fun
gonna say something.
podcast.
Yeah,
Oh no, well I just realized I was like, oh, it blew up, but I just realized last week was the
Jazzwares.
Jazzwares guys. So yeah, if anybody are watching that watched last week, welcome. Please
Hello
stick
there.
around for a while.
I'm not a regular, so don't let that affect your opinion of the show.
And thank you for listening to the Smugglers Galaxy podcast. If you could, please please leave a like and a 5-star review of the show anywhere you listen to podcasts. It really helps us out and points people to our show. You can find us on social media on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Send us an email or message us. We'd love feedback. We'd love to make you part of the show. Our email address is smugglersgalaxy@gmail.com. Thank you to Afonso Riviera for the Smugglers Galaxy logo. You can find him at Rock the Force Podcast. And thank you to Levi Waterhouse for the music. Hasbro re-release VC66 hashtag vote with your wallet. Vote with your wallet. Sabine will be on next week. Pass on what you've learned. Be a positive force in the collecting community. This is the way.
This is the way.
This is the way.
Like a banta.
Like a banda. This is the way.